Okay. Okay, so it seems like I'm live and anybody's watching right now. I truly would appreciate it if you just let me know if the audio is coming out right. As you could tell by my background, by the audio and video setup, it's not what we normally have here on the Real Estate Plate radio show. Hold on, and we got more noises coming out. And that's because this was a impromptu show that I decided to do. We're not in the radio studio today, and I had no intentions of doing a live show today. I was thinking of putting something pre-recorded or possibly a very quick live stream just to give everybody an update on what's going on. As everybody knows, it's President's Day, President's Week. A lot of people are off. I figured since everybody's off, or a lot of people are taking off, might as well give everybody a break from listening to me rant and rave about real estate. However, timing didn't necessarily work out well for me because over the weekend we got bombarded by tons of articles and news regarding real estate, specifically landlord and tenant laws, uh, landlord and tenant mandates, actions, housing, eviction moratorium news, ton of stuff. I pulled out a couple of articles that I wanted to highlight here. And I don't know how long I'm going to have this stream going for, how short it's going to be. I don't know. It might come down to me running out of breath and running out of rant power. I don't know. We'll find out soon enough. Um, if there's anybody on that's watching right now or down the line, I have put in a StreamYard link for any other landlords or possibly tenants that want to voice their opinions and give you their outlooks on what is going on in their minds about this. So it's an open platform. Typically, we try to keep everything wrapped up in a 1 hour period because of the show and the limitations because of the radio. Today, there is no radio show. It is off. They're probably playing jazz music right now as we speak on WGBB. Who knows what they're going to be playing? But I think this was a topic and it was something that was super important for us to jump in on, highlight, and actually show the public that this is something that's well on my radar and it's something that needs to be addressed. Now, you're seeing a lot of jitteriness in the background. You see my background says, "What now?" Well, what now? Uh, so if you see a little bit of the digital breakage and that kind of thing, that's because I'm not in the studio and I don't have my full setup right now. Hopefully you can get past it and whatever comes out of my mouth makes up for the differential in actual um, image. Now that being said, I think a I want to highlight a little video that was actually brought up through New York One, just to give everybody a real indication of what I'm talking about. Hopefully, this does work and that people can actually see what I'm seeing and hear what I'm seeing. And hopefully, like I said, if somebody jumps on, which I'm not sure if people will jump on or not, uh, but if they do, I'm hoping that they'll tell me if the audio and the video is coming out correctly. So let's try this. Let's try something different. Actually, this gives me a chance to experiment a little bit with the StreamYard type of stuff. So let me do share screen. All right, now it's gonna be it's easy as with two monitors. Share screen works. Blah 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 blah. All right, some screens let you share audio. Some share checkbox. Okay. Let's see. Hopefully this works. Hopefully this works. If not, I'm going to have to go backwards. I'm going to have to go backwards. All right. So give me an opportunity to share a window. We will share that. And let's see. Is everybody seeing what I'm seeing? I hope so. Now, let me just give you a quick synopsis of what this is. Tenants and landlords in limbo after eviction moratorium is lifted. Let's see what this video says. Let's see what it says. It shows. Like being a guest in someone's home who doesn't want you there. Let's do this. Feels like being a guest in someone's home who doesn't want you there. Anthony. What the hell's going on here? Why is this not working properly? Maybe the gods are trying to stop me from. Feels like being a guest in someone's home who doesn't want you there. That's interesting. It's giving me a breakage. Maybe it's the streaming platform that's making it very difficult. Let's try this again. Feels like being a guest in someone's home who doesn't want you there. Anthony. Okay, apparently this is not working the way I wanted it to. So how am I going to make this work? Deli and his girlfriend, Lindy D. Hogue, what I might do is just have it load. Maybe I'll let this whole bar load up before I play it. Maybe that will make it a little simpler, a little bit easier as far as going through with that. So let's stop the share screen at the moment. Go back to seeing my full face. Not that it's any better, but at least give you an understanding of what's going on. So that was the video and article that we were just talking about tenants and landlords in limbo after eviction moratorium. So that's I got that article right in front of me where I have everything read except for the video, of course. I want to be able to try to play that during the stream and give everybody the opportunity to see what I saw. But if we're not able to, I will add the link in, and hopefully that will make everybody's understanding of what's going on a little bit better. I'm going to throw in the StreamYard link again, just to give everybody the opportunity. If they want to jump into the live stream, they're more than welcome to. Let's see what we could do here. Let's see. Maybe if I close some windows, this will help. Maybe. I don't know. This is not something that I usually do. And, bear with me. Next article, Albany's no eviction ever. I want to hear that. No eviction ever bill will devastate landlords and New York housing stock. Okay? That's an understatement. Will devastate landlords and New York housing stock. But no eviction ever. Ever. These are not my words. These are coming out of New York Post. That's another headline. Another headline is NYC landlords almost never get arrested for illegal DIY eviction. That means do-it-yourself evictions. Okay? You're going to see a lot more of that, I assure you. You're going to see a ton more of that going on. You're going to see a ton more of that. And hopefully this thing loads up so we're able to play it and stream it. Again, I don't know if it's the signal or the streaming service or if it's just the power of the internet connection that's slowing it down, but we'll try to figure this out. Again, if there's anybody live or listening, you're more than welcome to hop in. If you don't, I have no problem rambling on myself. Guest in someone's home who doesn't want you there. Anthony. Okay, so I think we got it. I think that's going to work. So let's do share again. Let's see if this works. Not exactly a novice when it comes to technology, but I'm not necessarily a tech guru either. So let's see how this is going to work out. All right, so let's play this. Feels like being a guest in someone's home who doesn't want you there. Why is this happening?
Anthony Ricciardelli and his girlfriend, Lindy D. Hogue,
Let's see
feel
what.
as if they're stuck in limbo in their Ridgewood, Queens apartment.
Let's see. Maybe if I
They fell behind
adjust
on
the
their rent
quality.
before the COVID-19.
This is annoying.
It feels like being a guest in someone's home who doesn't want you there.
Yeah, we heard that one already. Come on, guys. Come on, give me a break. Let's.
Anthony Ricciardelli and his girlfriend, Lindy D. Hogue, feel as if they're stuck in limbo in their Ridgewood, Queens apartment. They fell behind on their rent before the COVID-19
You know, well, while I'm
pandemic hit the city.
waiting for this to properly load up, I want to check on my phone if this is actually coming through in the audio. Let me just put it on the thing to properly load up. I want to check on my phone if this is actually coming. Let's see if this happens. This is annoying.
It feels like being a guest in someone's home who doesn't want you there.
All right, so the audio is coming through. Ideal, perfect. At least I got that troubleshooting part of it fixed. Um, let's turn that off. Now let's go back to the video.
It feels like being a guest in someone's home who doesn't want you there.
Anthony
Let's see. Maybe if I...
Ricciardelli and his girlfriend, Lindy D. Hogue, feel as if they're stuck in limbo in their Ridgewood, Queens apartment.
There we go. All right, now we got it. Just had to lower the video quality.
Who doesn't want you there.
All right, let's do this again.
It feels like being a guest in someone's home who doesn't want you there.
Anthony Ricciardelli and his girlfriend, Lindy D. Hogue, feel as if they're stuck in limbo in their Ridgewood, Queens apartment. They fell behind on their rent before the COVID-19 pandemic hit the city. Then they lost their restaurant jobs.
Because of the protections in place to prevent the pandemic.
After missing 3 months rent payments, their landlord filed one of the last eviction cases in Queens County Housing Court the day before the eviction moratorium went into place on March 20th, 2020. The protection was put into place by then Governor Andrew Cuomo in order to prevent tenants from being uprooted during the height of the pandemic.
It's been a particularly disturbing time.
Ricciardelli and D. Hogue are still out of work without first month's rent and a security deposit for a new apartment. They can't move out. They're not paying rent, but don't look at it as living rent-free because the debt is mounting, and with it, pressure. They estimate that they owe their landlord $60,000.
We're kind of like in a prison cell in a way. It's a really bad situation.
And if not for the eviction moratorium, their case may have already gone to trial. According to a data tracker from the Right to Counsel Coalition, their case is among 205,000 active residential eviction cases in the city. Data shows there were just 206 eviction judgments last month. Based on that rate, the backlog wouldn't be cleared until the next century, the year 2304. A spokesperson for the Office of Court Administration disputes those numbers, saying many of the cases have been resolved or stayed by the state's Emergency Rental Assistance Program. Attorney Renee DeGrugier says the clearing rate is starting to pick up slowly.
I think the court is trying very hard to get as many cases on the calendar as they can. The problem we have now is
Look at that face.
is there are not many in-person cases.
Richard Deli and D. Hogue filed for relief through the federally funded State Emergency Rental Assistance Program, or Ewrap, but say their landlord was unresponsive. The landlord
This thing just keeps
and her
pausing.
attorney also did not respond to New York One when we reached out to them for comment. The Ewrap program requires landlords and tenants to apply together for up to a year of back rent. But because the owner is not cooperating, it's likely Richard Deli and D. Hogue will not have their debt cleared. Plus, the program has run out of money. We've done everything.
All right, I'm going to pause there for 1 second on what she just said. Let's hear that back one more time. Let's see if she could say it without. Let's see.
D. Hogue will not have their debt cleared. Plus, the program has run out of money. We've done everything, and all they need is a response from our landlord, and there's been nothing from them. However, the program application does put evictions on hold, a temporary safety net. This
You know what? I'm going to try something else, and let's see if this works.
couple expects to fall through soon, leaving them with tens
Let's see if this works.
of thousands of dollars in debt and without the means to pay for a new apartment, potentially leaving them homeless.
We're just in a state of fear, really, because we don't know what the next step is.
In Queens, Claude McGowan, New York One.
You know what? This might actually be this might actually be a better way to do it. I'm going to stop sharing. And yes, this is going to be a lot more crude than what I would like to have done. But hey, we're going to work with whatever we can right now. So I'm going to play this on my screen. You're not going to see this completely out, but you will be able to hear it at least. Yeah, we're going to be high tech today. Real high tech.
Feels like being a guest in someone's home who doesn't want you there.
Anthony Ricciardelli and his girlfriend, Lindy D. Hogue, feel as if they're stuck in limbo in their Ridgewood, Queens apartment. They fell behind on their rent before the COVID-19 pandemic hit the city. Then they lost their restaurant jobs.
Because of the protections in place to prevent the pandemic.
After missing 3 months' rent payments, their landlord filed one of the last eviction cases in Queens County Housing Court the day before the eviction moratorium went into place on March 20th, 2020. The protection was put into place by then Governor Andrew Cuomo in order to prevent tenants from being uprooted during the height of the pandemic.
It's been a particularly disturbing time.
Ricciardelli and D. Hogue are still out of work. Without first month's rent and a security deposit for a new apartment, they can't move out. They're not paying rent, but don't look at it as living rent-free because the debt is mounting, and with it, pressure. They estimate they owe their landlord $60,000.
We're kind of like in a prison cell in a way. Just a really bad situation.
And if not for the eviction moratorium, their case may have already gone to trial. According to a data tracker from the Right to Counsel Coalition, their case is among 205,000 active residential eviction cases in the city. Data shows there were just 206 eviction judgments last month. Based on that rate, the backlog wouldn't be cleared until the next
All right, I'm
century.
going to pause for
The
a
year
second on that number. It's saying 206,000 cases, but it's not saying how many have not been filed yet, and it's not also mentioning how many have been settled due to frustration and of landlords and the inability of them finding any justice. We're not including them, and I can assure you there are probably double, if not triple, the amount of cases that could have been filed if it wasn't for the eviction moratorium that was in place. I'm just going to bring that up.
2304. A spokesperson for the Office of Court Administration disputes those numbers, saying many of the cases have been resolved or stayed by the state's Emergency Rental Assistance Program. Attorney Renee DeGrugier says the clearing rate is starting to pick up slowly.
I think the court is trying very hard to get as many cases on the calendar as they can. The problem we have now is there are not many in-person cases.
Richie Urdelli and D-Hogue filed for relief through the federally funded State Emergency Rental Assistance Program, or Ewrap, but say their landlord was unresponsive. The landlord and her attorney also did not respond to New York One when we reached out to them for comment. The Ewrap program requires landlords and tenants to apply together for up to a year of back rent. But because the owner is not cooperating, it's likely Richard Urdelli and D-Hogue will not have their debt cleared. Plus, the program has run out of money.
We've done everything, and all they need is a response from our landlord, and there's been nothing from them.
However, the program application does put evictions on hold, a temporary safety net this couple expects to fall through soon, leaving them with tens of thousands of dollars in debt and without the means to pay for a new apartment, potentially leaving them homeless.
We're just in a state of fear, really, because we don't know what the next step is.
In Queens, Claudia McGowan, New York One.
They're playing with the system. They try to stay in my place as long as they can.
Joan Jew says she hasn't received any rental income from her Sheepshead Bay apartment unit in nearly 2 years. She says once the eviction moratorium went into effect in March 2020, her tenant paid April's rent and hasn't paid a dime since.
He asked me to put the mortgage into forbearance, not paying my property tax bill. He said it's a pandemic. There's nothing you can do about it. I just stay here.
Zhu says she pays $3,128 a month for mortgage, property taxes, and water at this two-family home. Her tenant's $2,500 a month rent payment would have covered the majority of that. The eviction moratorium at first prevented landlords from filing any new eviction cases and paused pending evictions to prevent people from having to move and potentially be exposed to COVID-19. It also gave landlords protection from foreclosure on their mortgages, but that too expired with the moratorium last month. Renee DeGrugier, who practices landlord-tenant law, says the pandemic protections are still hurting landlords.
The two-family homeowners who are depending on this rent to pay their mortgages are going to lose their homes because nobody's doing anything to help them.
Zhu's case is one of tens of thousands of pending eviction cases in the city. Hers did go before a Brooklyn judge in November. According to court documents, her tenant told the judge he had an active emergency rental assistance program, or Ewrap application, and that put the case on pause. It's the state's program providing rental assistance during the pandemic. But according to Zhu's attorney, the tenant's Ewrap application was denied in October, a claim New York One was unable to confirm. In a sworn affidavit, Zhu states her tenant owns a $1.5 million home 2 blocks away and highlights a 2017 income tax return showing more than $270,000 in income.
I'm working so hard to keep them in my place. How would that be fair?
We were unable to reach Zhu's tenant at her rental apartment and by personal and business phones. It's not clear if he has retained an attorney for his eviction case. Her case is scheduled to go before a judge next week. Currently, her tenant owes her $55,000 and she's paid out $8,000 in attorney fees. In Brooklyn, Claudia McGowan, New York One.
So that's just a story about something. I'm just gonna make something very clear. I'm not necessarily. Let me turn this thing back on. And again, this is a choppy thing. I'm going to have to do some kind of pre-recorded video in order to elaborate this a little bit more and give everybody a better quality video that they could be able to engage with and be able to replay. But I did this more of a reason to actually verbally bring this to everybody's attention in the public and to actually verbally show my disdain for these type of actions that are being taken. Okay, so let's be honest with each other. Let's be crystal clear. This Ewrap program that they keep talking about, yeah, it did help some people as far as getting relief and getting some back payments in there. But you have to also completely understand that by agreeing to something like this Ewrap, you're also taking away your rights as a landlord to be able to evict them in the near-term future in case they stop paying again. Oh, we forget about that, and they also neglected that on New York 1 to mention that situation. Oh, but that's okay, you know. So they get money from the city to pay back all the rent, but you could go for another 6 months to 12 months without paying again. That really works out really well. I love that type of system. They're really good job. The other thing that I wanted to mention is they briefly glanced over the fact that we have a backlog of evictions and cases that will run us into the next century. It's funny that they only glanced by that. It really is funny. I do notice that some people are jumping in live as we're going, and like I mentioned before, I am putting in the StreamYard, and if somebody does want to, join on, you can join in. I have open link for anybody that wants to join in the back thing. I know that a lot of people are a little shy about showing themselves and talking about them, about these issues in this world where everybody's worried about any kind of backlash. That's why you have me, and you have me as your mouthpiece to talk about these things. But that being said, I'm really horrified at the fact that they're just glancing over that we have that big of a backlog. I knew that we had a backlog. I thought it was maybe a few years. I'm not exaggerating. I thought it was going to be 5 to 10 years. They're talking about going to the turn of the century, which all of us would be dead by then, or we have given up by then. And I'm also going to say another thing. I'm going to say something else that's really, really important and very, very, listen to this very carefully. There are so many landlords out there that were literally forced to take settlement deals or work out a deal to pay their tenants to leave, not to have to go through this whole kangaroo court process. Yeah, yes, it is a kangaroo court because the rights of landlords are clearly being dismissed and disregarded, and it seems to be very one-sided. So that being said, I want to be very candid about the way I'm talking, and I want to really emphasize this point with everybody. Unless something changes, there's going to be a different effect. There's going to be another backlog. There's going to be another issue that they are not going to be ready to handle from the city and the government aspect. Now, there's one article here that says New York landlords almost never get arrested for illegal DIY evictions. Okay. The reason you're having a lot of DIY evictions happening in New York is because they have no real viable alternative. You put them in a position where they're stuck. Either they're going to lose their properties, lose their livelihoods, wait for the court system to run its course, completely financially devastate them and deplete them, or take it into their own hands. And I'm not saying that it's the right thing to take it in your own hands. Believe me when I tell you this. It is not. It is not the right thing to do. However, if there's no alternative, you will see many more people taking their chances. And what are they going to do? Are they going to arrest every single landlord? The same way, what are they going to do? Arrest every single tenant? We'll see. Time will tell. But what I'm saying is you're going to have other issues going on. You're going to have people taking the law into their own hands and evicting people on their own. You're going to have people that are so financially crippled, they're not going to do any type of renovations of any kind to their properties, not because they don't want to, and not because they're doing it out of spite. And believe me, there will be a lot of people that are doing that out of spite and because they don't want to. But the majority of people are going to be doing it because they don't have the financial means to be able to handle it. It's very simple. Super simple. It's actually really logical if we think about it. But hey, you have a guy like me. What do I know? What do I know? I don't know anything. All I know is that this doesn't seem to be the right thing. Hey, driver's seat, how are you doing? This, nobody's really advocating from the landlord aspect of it. It's all about the housing rights and the tenants. And I'm going to go back to something I've harped on and said many, many times. A lot of these housing laws started off in a very noble way, in a correct way, where they were basically protecting a lot of tenants that were being abused and actually not treated right, and the wrong things were being done by them. And that's how way a lot of these laws that mandates that we pass in history start off. However, through bureaucracy, through politics, through politics, and through a majority of incentivized type of directions, the landlords have been having the deck stacked up against them. And I don't understand why. Landlords provide a very useful service. They are a key, essential part of not only the economy, but our social infrastructure. Excuse me. For the government to constantly be attacking them, what is the alternative? What is it exactly that they want? Do they want landlords just to give up? I don't believe that's the case. Because if that's the case, then who's going to run the housing? Is it going to be the city? Is it going to be the government? Driver's seat, you need me to use, let's read what driver's seat wrote. You need to use stronger language to describe what's going on. If it's theft of property and transferring it over, to see these non-profit socialist groups, they're funded government and fight harder. Well, you know what? I'll tell you something, driver's seat. I am trying my best. I'm trying my best to speak clearly, logically, and in a way that will not make me look like a lunatic that's ranting and raving and cursing and that kind of thing. Why? Because that's the label they're going to put on me if I'm sitting there and yelling about things. Okay? So I'm trying to think clearly and logically of the way I'm describing this. And every so often, a few choice words do come out of my mouth. But there's nothing that you wrote in your comment that I don't agree. This is a complete transformation of capitalism to socialism when it comes to housing. There's no other way to look at it. But let me finish my thought on what I was saying before, and I'll get into your comment a little bit more right after that. So the alternative is for the government or the city to take over the housing. Well, you walk into any projects, I'll tell you how that works out. And I'm not talking about the ones that were just built, that are brand new, that are in beautiful condition, that there's nothing going on with them yet. I'm talking about the ones that have been around for a while and that are deteriorating and falling apart and are basically complete cesspools of living conditions. Why? Because the city or the state or whatever government facility is actually a government agency is handling that, is doing an awful job of not only maintaining and making sure that the quality of life sustains to a certain level, repairing everything that needs to be repaired, but also regulating of how the tenants conduct themselves in the place. It's like, half the time we go into these things and they're like war zones. Why? Because there's no rules, there's no mandates, there's no the only things that just don't kill a person. That's basically what it comes down to. You can get away with anything else. You can get warnings. You can get a stir talking to. We're going to be really tough with you. But we're not going to take away your house. We're not going to take away your apartment. Why? Why does everybody have to feel that they're that what's the word? That empowered and that they have those many rights to violate other people while retaining their own homes? Why do they feel that way? Or maybe the words didn't come out of my mouth the right way. The way you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. I'm frustrated. I am completely irritated with this whole situation. I wish the stream and I wish the signal was a little bit better and it wasn't as jittery as it is now. And that's one of the reasons why I'm being distracted right now and not necessarily being able to watch as I normally stream as I normally do and speak as free form as I want to right now. It's a little annoying. I'm going to try to do a pre-recorded or possibly do a stream that's a follow-up on this from a better signal area, a better Wi-Fi zone, and hopefully that works out well. But I had to start this conversation. I had to make a video to be able to communicate my disillusion with this whole situation, my being angry. I'm really angry about the way things are happening right now. It's not right. It is not right. Not enough people in my industry are talking about this, which I find extremely offensive. I find it really irritating, the fact that a lot of agents, a lot of brokers in my business their livelihoods are dependent on a lot of these landlords, whether they're selling these apartment buildings or whether they're leasing them out for them, and they're not doing anything to advocate for them. Nothing. Why? It makes no sense to me. And then you have landlords that are angry with a lot of people in my profession because they are not doing anything to help them. And I don't blame them. I truly don't blame them. It's irritating. It's a horrible situation that we're dealing with. Driver's seat wants me to curse out of my mind right now. I'm a bit restraining myself a little bit. Maybe I will. I don't know. But either way, I wanted to make a quick stream just to give everybody my thoughts on what's going on. This is a reactionary type of video where I'm giving you just a little bit of what's going on in my mind. And I assure you there's going to be a follow-up that's going to be a lot more detailed, and we're going to try to get some clearer videos that we're going to play through. And if people like my reaction videos, the type that I do where I'm watching something and commenting on it, please let me know, and I could do those a lot more often. Actually, those might be the easiest videos I could actually react to. I could pre-record them, get a nice clear stream, and put it out there. But you'd have to let me know. Now, if there's anything you want to send me as far as articles or videos that you want me to watch and review, the email you could send me through is real estate plate radio at gmail.com, and I'll punch that in right into the comments. Real estate plate radio at gmail.com. So you can email me there, and I assure you I'll take a look at it. I mean, I've been talking to a lot of landlords. A lot of people have been over the weekend. It's been crazy as far as the volume of landlords and people that people have been doing. Hi, Nick. It's hard unless you... What is this? This is very interesting. This is a different thing. NYC guy. Hi, Nick. It's hard unless you are BlackRock. Yes. It is very hard unless you're BlackRock. And even, I will say something. You know what? A lot of people talk about the big management and big landlords that own properties. And it's funny you said that. It's hard unless you're BlackRock. Yes, it is a lot harder unless you're BlackRock. But I will say something about this as well. They're not having an easy battle either. That's the crazy thing about it. Our city and state don't care about small landlord, but want property tax. That's the frustration, NYC guy. That is a frustration that does not end for me. One, they don't care about the small landlords. And quite honestly, I don't think they care about any landlords in particular. They do care about developers coming in and developing better property so they can hike up the taxes. Don't get me wrong, they love that. But once those developers are gone and the either they or the new owners become landlords, they decide, thank you very much for increasing the value of our properties. But while you did so, we're going to extend our thanks to you by constantly charging the expense rate by putting your property taxes, your water bills, etc., through the roof. Through the roof. I mean, come on. This is ridiculous. During this eviction moratorium time, they never gave us any relief from property tax. How is that possible? You just stopped. Seriously, you just stopped any kind of funnel income coming in by allowing tenants to not pay, but yet as the government that put that mandate upon us, you're still forcing the landlords to pay the taxes? How is that just? How is that justified in any way? Can anybody in this world make that a clear understanding? Now, they said you can get forbearance on your mortgage, but guess what? Your mortgage has to keep paying, whether it's your lender or whether it's you, they have to keep paying the taxes. And by the way, the forbearance that they're saying, it's not cancel mortgage, but the way they're saying cancel rent. It's not that. It gets backlogged. It gets topped. You're not going to get out of that. You're not going to get out of it. And usually the landlords that own these buildings are doing everything they can to sustain, because their credit are going to get shot. They're going to lose whatever other assets they have. In some cases, they had to put collateral up that they'll lose to put into place. It is a completely unjustified, in my personal opinion, horrific type of practice. Sorry. Just saying it the way it is. I'm just saying the way it is. And if you can't appreciate that and you don't like that, obviously you're watching the wrong channel. That's the first thing. If you're somebody that loves to have a big form of socialism, take itself into high precedence in our housing, then this is definitely not the channel for you. I could assure you that. I could absolutely assure you that. Now, I'm getting animated. I'm getting angry. That's probably going to make driver's seat very, very happy about me getting a little bit more choice with my words and that kind of thing. But again, I don't want a scenario. I do not want a scenario where I'm going to come out looking like a ranting lunatic and the other side turns around and basically says, oh, look at the way these guys talk. I don't want a situation like that. I want people to be speaking from a very knowledgeable and a very literate and a very fully comprehensive way to be able to convey our message. Now, I've said this multiple times. I'm one of the few people that are coming on here and actually advocating and bringing this out to the public. There's a few other great, there's actually a few, but they're kind of buried in the YouTube algorithm. But I'll just bring up a couple. You have the landlord advocates with Matthew Lyman. He is great. This guy comes out with a lot of information, very frequent, and he is very, very knowledgeable about his stuff. And you could always go and check out his channel, the Landlord Advocates. I love his approach. He is always coming out and bringing up-to-date stuff. He's right on target and very, very knowledgeable. Another great advocate that we have is Tyson, Rich Tyson, who's great, and he's up in Rochester, and he has been an advocate from day one, and he's been helping the cause. I'm the truth, NYC guy. You are the truth, Nick. I appreciate that, NYC guy. I do. But I don't know if I'm the truth. I am just trying my best. I'm trying my very best to bring this to the forefront. Am I the most articulate speaker? Absolutely not. I could assure you that. There's much more qualified and there are much better speakers out there than I am that could really articulate and really engage with the audience and really pull you in and have you understand their side of the truth or the equation, because there's always two sides to the truth. Am I the most charismatic person on the web that pulls people in? Absolutely not. I know that as well. But what I do have that many people, for some reason or another, don't want to be able to utilize is a mouth. And my mouth will open up and it will bring out words to bring what my thoughts are to action. I guess people want to live in HPD, NYCHA style housing. Well, the thing is, they have that thought. They want to be part of NYCHA and they want to have the HPD experience, but they don't want the environment to be harsh. They want brand new apartments. They want all kinds of different things that really can't be sustainable through these programs. You can't have it all. And I'll tell you something, these programs do not have the money to continue to sustain. I could assure you that. They say this all the time. The grass is always greener. Well, in a lot of cases, these are not greener pastures that are up ahead for people that are looking and striving for this. I could assure you this. Anytime you have any type of structures like this or organizations that are run by the government, there's going to be a lot wrong. There's always going to be a tighter and more efficient ship under the Prerecorded than it is through public or government type of assisted situations. First of all, there is so much waste. I can't even tell you the amount of. I cringe at the thought of how many tax dollars are being thrown away on items and things that should not be thrown away on. And you know what? I would love to actually walk through a government housing or facility. And again, not the brand new ones. I would actually, maybe I should go through a brand new one that's 10 years old, one that's 20 years old, one that's 30 years old. And you could see how the changes are done and what the dynamic is of the way the community is in there. And the amount of damages that are being neglected in these places. And ask the people that are living in those areas how they truly feel about their living experience. I should do something. I would actually love to do that. Now, will I have open reign to be able to do that and run around with a microphone to do that, like a journalist or like a reporter? I don't know. Maybe I'll be able to do that. But if I don't, the news channels, they're not looking to do that. They don't want to highlight that. That's not sexy enough for them as far as news. It's a lot more of a sexy story to say how bad the landlords and the slumlords are, rather than how bad of a job that the government is doing with their facilities. Because I can assure you, the private sector is doing a much better job in housing than any government facility. I could assure you that. And if you're wrong, call me out, prove me wrong. Send me the addresses. I'll go there and drive by. I'll take pictures. I'll take videos of everything. And you could tell me if that's the case. With that being said, again, the video quality tonight is horrible. It is horrid. We have a lot of technical issues. I think the Wi-Fi or there's something wrong with the streaming. But either way, I made this video to just give you a few of my thoughts. There will be a follow-up. I can assure you that I'm going to try to get something of much better quality to be able to emphasize my thoughts. And we'll probably do this again a couple times this week. So that being said, unless there's any other questions that are being put out there, I thank everybody that's been watching and listening. Again, there was no actual radio feed this week. If you want to send me anything, you could always do it through Real Estate Plate Radio at gmail.com. And I think I spelled it wrong. Let's see. Something just got rid of NYC guy. Wait till the building department says we need to upgrade our buildings and houses to be energy efficient and can't pay for it. Yeah, that's coming. You're actually very right about that. That is coming down the line. And it's funny. How is it going to get paid for? And who is that really going to benefit? Who is that really going to benefit? There's always alternative movements. There's always different agendas. It's not gonna be good. So I'm just typing in the correct spelling for real estate plate radio because I saw that it was spelled incorrectly on the previous post. There you go. I'm on Facebook. All you have to do is type my name in, you'll find me. Or you can put the real estate plate there as well. You'll find me there. I'm on Instagram, Sakalas Group. You'll be able to find me there. I'm everywhere. I'm basically everywhere. So if you want to find me, you find me. I will be posting more videos. I'm looking forward to getting some streams where I'm going to have additional people on as well. But that being said, I know it's a short week. I mean, it's a supposedly off week for a lot of people, but apparently I'm going to be on all week. So I'll be with you again soon. I appreciate everybody that watched. Driver's Seat NYC guy. I appreciate you guys commenting in the chat as well. And this is going to continue. We'll talk again soon. Have a great night, everybody. Have a great week. But I will be back with you within the week. Have a great night, everyone.